Sorry, there's a lot. There's a lot of ground to cover just on that subject, but I'm going to fast forward kind of to some concluding questions, just so that I don't take too much of your time. And the first is that there are a lot of issues facing the global economy. You look at Greece and potentially exiting the Eurozone. China's economy might be slowing. In California, you have the severe drought, and who knows what that's going to do to budget priorities. Is Berkeley in a position to weather another economic downturn in the near future?
Yeah, economic downturns, environmental downturns, political downturns, there are all kinds of opportunities for more than bumps to be ahead of us in the road going forward. Berkeley has weathered a lot, and it's going to survive. It's a great university, and it has unbelievable human capital that is invested in its future success. Short of, an apocalyptic vision of California that has been parched dry, shaken to smithereens by major earthquakes and overcome by plagues of locusts and vermin, we will survive and we will actually thrive. So, the truth is, the university is one of the most permanent things we have. It's going to outlast administrators like me. It's going to outlast students and faculty here. It's going to outlast, for sure, the politicians in Sacramento. But here's to the point of your question, I think. We are building new kinds of models to sustain ourselves that are extraordinarily diverse. And in thinking about all the different ways in which we're supporting what we're doing here, we're also, in fact, insulating ourselves to some extent from shocks that might come to one particular part of our budget, whether it's state funding or for that matter, the capacity of families to pay some measure of tuition or what have you. So I think we're actually, in some ways, stronger now than we've ever been before, more ready for the kinds of challenges that are surely going to be ahead than we've ever been before as well.
Okay, so just one last question, since I heard the Campanile bells ring. You did an interview on KQED, and on it you said you were asked about potentially returning to teaching.
Yes.
And he mentioned interdisciplinary history of anthropology as possibly being a course that you might teach. Is that possible? Because I know in the anthropology department they could probably use an interdisciplinary history of anthropology course.
Well, I think they actually have a few of them, but
well, they used to have sociocultural anthropologists and archaeologists team teach the history of anthropology course, and since then they go to one or the other. But I think it'd be great if you could teach that course.
Well, I would love to get back in the classroom. I think probably I'll start with a freshman seminar, since that's something that my office seems to think I could fit into my schedule. But there's so many things I'd love to teach. I mean, honestly, right now, I would love to teach a course that would deal with questions having to do with, would be a kind of global political theory class, where one would go back to classic debates, both in the West and in other parts of the world, to think through, with historical perspective, some of the challenges that we face globally, in relationship to questions having to do with political representation, different kinds of options for governance, the challenges of inequality and the transmutations of global capital. And it's something I've been thinking a lot about since I taught, in the last year I was at Columbia, I taught a course in political theory that was called Their Contemporary Civilization in the West, and then I made it into a more global kind of course. But it's something that would help me think through as well some of the opportunities in the global campus, so I could, as it were, have my cake and eat it too. But thanks for asking that. I'd love to teach, and I'd love to get back into the classroom and teach Berkeley students.
And I think that'd be fantastic. I'm sure there are a lot of students who would want to take that course. But Chancellor Dirks, I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to sit down with me and discuss these important issues.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Adam.